For today's video, let's discuss the Chapter 7 entitled Qualitative Research Methods. This chapter reviews the following elements: the underlying principles of naturalistic work, ethical concerns, data gathering techniques, data analysis tools and methods, developing grounded theory, ensuring analytic integrity, and the presentation of findings. Underlying principles of naturalistic work. Naturalistic work seeks out all aspects of that complexity on the grounds that they are essential to understanding the behavior of which they are a part. Naturalism is an approach that posits reality as holistic, based in the perceptions of individuals and communities, and continually changing. The act of gathering data for a qualitative study is an evolving process rooted in ongoing analysis. It involves more than obtaining discrete units of information. Sampling. Two criteria for determining the right number of interview participants are sufficiency and saturation. When we say sufficiency refers to the effort to include all the subpopulations involved. Saturation refers to the point at which the critical elements of the study have become saturated. The most common sampling techniques in qualitative studies follow the thread of purpose. In LIS research, the following methods may be most useful are: 1. Maximum variety sampling. This method seeks as heterogeneous a sample as possible and is useful when seeking to identify patterns and commonalities that exist across otherwise divergent individuals. 2. Extreme case sampling. This method selects participants who appear to exemplify characteristics of inters in order to clarify the critical issues in an area. 3. Intensity sampling. This technique identifies participants who have a great deal of experience rather than an extreme experience with a phenomenon. 4. Snowball sampling. This method identifies participants who are linked through shared experiences, perspectives, or other factors. Observation is a broad category of data gathering in which the naturalistic researcher must choose a point of balance between observing and participating. Carefully documented watching and/or listening may be augmented with judicious interviewing and the collection of artifacts. Interviews are a valuable qualitative method for researchers who make effective choices along the continuum between structured and unstructured interviews. The structured interview is the mode of choice when the interviewer knows what he or she does not know and can therefore frame appropriate questions to find it out, while the unstructured interview is the mode of choice when the interviewer does not know what he or she doesn't know and must therefore rely on the respondent to tell him or her. Developed by Michael Foucault, has the capacity to track historically the origins of and challenges to mainstream ideas, and to illustrate marginalized ideas. Content analysis is based on the premise that the many words from interviews, observations, and documents can be reduced to, or organized into, categories. Comparing incidents applicable to each category, integrating categories and their properties, delimiting the theory, writing the theory. Three types of coding. Open coding is the initial, provisional work done on an unrestricted basis to produce concepts that fit the data. Axial coding takes place during the latter portions of open coding as major categories emerge from the data. Selective coding takes place as soon as open and axial coding have begun to establish core categories. The process of moving from coding to theory or pattern generation is ongoing, but when saturation has been reached, it is necessary to leave the field and begin the final analysis. The grounded theory approach, while not the only theoretical option, stands out as central to the naturalistic paradigm because it develops models, hypotheses, and theory directly and primarily from the data without reference to pre-existing concepts or theories. 1. Coordinated collection of sufficient data is ensured through the use of prolonged engagement, persistent observation, and triangulation. 2. Peer debriefing requires submitting the research process and resultant analysis to an unaffiliated and perhaps critical peer for rigorous review and open input. 3. Member checks take the study participants, and stakeholders as a critical audience. A member check seeks to provide meaningful feedback on all matter. 4. Negative case analysis requires developing and revising a theory, model, or hypothesis until it accounts for every known case. 5. Although difficult for the resource-poor investigator, referential adequacy can be valuable. 6. Coordinating data gathering systematically, however flexibly, requires establishing structural corroboration or coherence. 7. Finally, watching for and noting the impact of researchers' bias, perspective, and expectations require reflexive journals and a personal log. That's all for today. I hope you learned something from the topic. Until next time, thank you everyone. Again, this is Mariel M. Vince. Thank you.